I had this dream last night, and it was Battlefield and Skyrim. You know, I play a lot of domination in Battlefield, and when we triple cap, I move to one of the home flags, because that's where I know the enemy is most likely going to spawn or attack next. And that's what I was doing in my dream last night. We were triple capping, so I moved to the closest home flag. Except this time, the flags were entire Skyrim cities. It was an epic dream. Human creativity is billions of neurons in our brain moving around, interacting with one another, and creating networks, neural networks. These neurons store information. One stored Skyrim cities, one stored the domination triple cap and my corresponding strategy for it, and then last night those neurons interacted while I slept. And it was magnificent. It is our ability to think creatively that defines us. It is the root of our true power and our dominance over all other sentient life on Earth. It is the most valuable tool we have in gaming and life. And ultimately, it is what will separate the weak from the strong on the battlefield. The other day I was playing domination on Shanghai, and there was this fucking douchebag camping on the rooftop of C-Dom. You know what I'm talking about. They shoot down on you through the glass panels in the ceiling, and he was spawning guys in, and they were throwing grenades down at us and shit, and parachuting in on our flanks, and really making life miserable. And you know, of course, there's always one motherfucker that gets up there with the MG L32 thing and starts just fucking spraying that shit down at you, and it gets old fast. So I hop in the elevator to go up there and get his ass, and I know he's gonna be camping that elevator, but I've got a pretty good strategy for countering that shit. I hug one of the elevator corners and then pop out in a lean, right? Use that lean feature, nice little lean, and I spray him down, and that'll usually do the trick. But this motherfucker was having none of it. When those elevator doors opened, he was point blank pushing up against those doors, so as soon as they opened, he just barged in the elevator and hosed me down with M10 shotgun rounds. So that was annoying. Now, being the stupid motherfucker I am, I immediately spawned on a teammate already in the elevator going up there, thinking, hey, maybe if there's two of us, I can use this teammate of mine as some grade A cannon fodder. And while his ass is getting chewed through with M10, I'll fucking take out the shoddy guy and then secure the rooftops in the name of liberty and justice, and then we don't gotta worry about little bitches camping on the rooftops, taking shits and throwing them down on me and my team whilst we go about our business. So the elevator door opens, and I end up being the cannon fodder, of course, and while I'm taking M10 to the fucking face, my teammate shits his pants. He had a sniper rifle, for God knows what reason. He sprays a bunch of sniper shots, misses every single shot, and then proceeds to be face raped by this motherfucker's M10. So I'm like, fuck it. And then I try to go up the ladder off to the side of the elevator. You know what I'm talking about. But of course, motherfucker's waiting right there with the goddamn M10. Probably heard me coming up the ladder because for some reason my guy has to just slap the shit out of the metal rungs as he climbs up this metal fucking ladder. So I reach the top of the ladder and get point blank skull fucked by the M10 once again. Now at this point, I'm furious. It's like if I don't decimate this fucking douchebag before the match is over, I'm gonna slit my wrists and lie out in the street so I can publicly bleed out and die and really throw a damper on my neighbor's days because I want motherfuckers to suffer like I suffer. I want to watch the world burn, right? There's where my head was at this particular moment. And I'm sitting there waiting to respawn, and it wasn't like I consciously sat there and tried to come up with the answer. It just sort of happened. I was like, oh, I know what I'll do. Because I knew he was going to be pushing up against the elevator doors, point blank, ready to spray the shoddy. And remember that the best way to deal with highly effective extreme aggression is to lay a trap. Let the bull run into a ditch, bitch. My teammate, that incompetent sniper, was taking another shot at the elevator strategy. Good luck to you, son. So I didn't go up there with him. But I sent 3 C4 packs up there with him, and then I waited. I waited until I saw the orange arrow on the minimap and then the skull of my fallen teammate, that sniper, and I detonated that C4, and I fucked that kid up, and I made it to the rooftop, and by the time I got up there, he had respawned on one of his fucking homies, but unfortunately for him, his homie was camping on the opposite far corner of the roof with the MGL32. He thinks he's so fucking hardcore, so he was sprinting across trying to get back to the elevator. When I pop out of the elevator, surprise, bitch, and I fucked his ass up like a boar fucks up drunk kings. And I shot his fucking homeboy in the face too. And he had another little bitch to spawn on who was completely oblivious and unaware that his squad mates were getting shit on, so I went and shaked that dumbass in the face. But the point is, based on my previous 3 attempts, I knew the guy would be camping point blank at the elevator, and I knew that my teammate in the elevator would draw him in, and perhaps more importantly, I also knew that little bitches die when they take C4 to the face. Now, I lost to him the first 3 times because he successfully predicted what I would do, and he had a counter for each one of my moves. But just remember this, always, in Battlefield and life, the best way to win a fight is to fight in ways your enemy cannot predict, and the only way to accomplish that is to outplay them creatively. We must imagine something greater than what our enemies can fathom, or, more simply put, you must think of something they haven't thought of yet, and then victory will be no challenge at all. Battlefield is a game of methodic strategy, of knowing what your enemy will do before he does it, or successfully predicting how your enemy will react when you do something. Now, creative problem solving is also where you will find a significant portion of the skill gap. A newer player lacking a full understanding of the game and its intricate details, specifically regarding equipment and gadgets and their uses individually and in combination, is probably going to be restricted to just shooting that enemy armor with a rocket launcher of some sort, whereas a veteran player is going to have dozens of different methods and ideas for killing enemy tanks, whether it's ghost riding a C4 filled motorcycle, dropping smokescreen in its path for cover to plant some AT mines, falling from the sky with some fucking slams and dropping on the sun pitch midair and then escaping like a beast, or hitting it with one C4 pack so it's hella damage and then the guy gets out to repair, but you fucking shank him in the face with your modded dual wield repair tools because you're such a fucking creative genius the game couldn't even handle you anymore, so you had to start hacking. It's their fault, not mine, and then the tank is free for you to repair and for you to steal like a beast. Battlefield provides that opportunity to play creatively more than any other FPS, and that's one of the things that I love most about this game. There's just so many different options. There's so many different things to do. The other night, me and my boy T Watts, the infamous Timbo Peep, spent the whole night just strapping C4 on various vehicles and blowing shit up with it. And it was a blast, and we fucking giggled like hyenas every time it went down. And then last night, we're playing with choppers the whole night. And then this morning, I got on and I was fucking around with the EOD bot, getting bomb plants in Rush, and trolling motherfuckers on Operation Locker, because it's all tight spaces and chaotic 24/7, and I'm just sneaking up on motherfuckers with my little bot and zapping them in the ankle till they die. Achilles ain't got shit on my EOD bot, bitch. Another tactic worth mentioning, I think, that is the result of creative problem solving, and I'm not the first one to come up with this idea. I realize it's probably been around for several Battlefields, but if you are flying the attack chopper and you have a partner you can communicate with, the best way to beat the AA is to have your secondary gunner launch 2 TV missiles from like across the fucking map at the AA, and if they both hit, it'll do heavy damage and you'll disable his ass, and then you just charge in there and spray him down with the rocket fire and the secondary cannon, and it's very effective. And really, in my experience, the only way to consistently defeat the anti-air tank with the attack chopper. If you're in a scout chopper or the Venom, again, you need a second person, but if you fly really low and can sneak up close enough to the AA, you just drop someone off with some C4 slams, kill his ass. You know what I'm saying? Creativity can overcome any obstacle, even the infamous and clearly overpowered anti-air tank. I rule the air, and from the air, I rule the ground. And you think I give a fuck about the AA? What is reactive armor and active radar missiles in the face of a billion neurons? And this is exactly what I'm talking about, people. Battlefield gives you the opportunity to really think strategically and assess the value and capabilities of all the tools at your disposal. And it adds such a deep level of replayability to the game. It's depressing that other games don't follow suit, but I know most of them, or at least as far as first-person shooters go, they won't do it. Because again, creativity is a skill gap. Alright? It's the skill gap, because then the new player has to learn all these different techniques and strategies that players have been coming up with for years. And it's like if you've been playing since 1942, the game, not the year, you're going to know every little trick in the book, and it's going to take a long time for a new player to learn everything in that book. And that's why Call of Duty has so very few creative options. I've been playing COD for years, but I don't think I'm aware of any special tactics that someone just starting wouldn't know about. The most creative tactic I ever used on Call of Duty was putting smokescreen and bouncing betties on a flag while I capped it, and then the bad guys have to walk into the smoke to try and find me, but they find the bouncing betties to the face instead. But of course you die anyways after you've capped and the smoke has cleared, and that's as far as creative problem solving gets you in that game. And that's personally why I think Battlefield clips are cooler than Call of Duty clips, and why I think Battlefield is going to start becoming more popular and much more competitive on YouTube than it has been in the past. Because there's just so much variety in the kind of clips and videos you can get, because not only is there the typical gameplay commentary and just a straight montage of sprays and shit, but like for instance you have Sandy Ravage running people over with jets, you got motorcycles into vehicle C4s, you have sniper trolling, and then of course you have those ridiculously epic moments like when a guy jumps out of his jet jet, snipes a bad guy out of his jet cockpit, and enters that cockpit all in midair. That's why that only in Battlefield 4 Moments advertising campaign was so effective, because it's really true. I'm jumping from this collapsing skyscraper in midair, parachuting down, I give this attack chopper a nice rocket to the face. I'm swimming in the water, whip out my pistol against the other dude swimming in the water, triple pistol whipping the oceanic spray, bitch. And then just in terms of general variety, like in Call of Duty, I've tried to mix up the clips, but I've realized that at the end of the day, all I can really do is change the weapon I'm using or the camo. But with Battlefield, you have all the weapons, plus all the vehicles, plus all the equipment, which often make for neater clips than weapons themselves. Because in Battlefield, you can get clips or epic moments of things that don't revolve around just killing. Like again, with the guy jumping out of the jet and sniping the other guy out of the jet and then jacking that jet in midair. If you haven't seen that video, go find it. But it was just one kill, right? Whereas with COD, excluding cross-map throwing knives, a lone kill by itself will always be pretty average and boring. So with that in mind, embrace creativity and boldly go where no man has gone before, in your own brain and in the games you play a hater, and may the force guide you. Please rate. This is Batman, signing out.